Here we are again, live at 11 on Monday morning. It's the Monday Morning Money Show. Your host, Billy Merritt. Billy Merritt presents experts every single weekday, Monday through Friday, live at 11. I'm bringing you people that are experts, people that can add value to your life. They're already adding value to my life. And today's topic is money. For some reason, money is taboo, and I'm trying to break that. We're going to get people thinking and talking about money. We're going to learn from some people who know how to make some money. We're going to get some good money advice. And I only bring you experts. When I bring someone on here that is a guest, you can rest assured that these people have some specialized knowledge. Now, today, I bring you Shaka Dyson. And let me tell you a little bit about this guy. He is a trainer. He is, when I say trainer, he trains trainers. He trains dealers. He trains managers. He trains F&I guys. Finance and insurance. That's an area of expertise that everybody needs to know a little bit about. I'm going to get, if my assistant, will you talk to your microphone to make sure I can hear you today?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, there you go. So now, if you will, bring on Shaka, and let me go ahead and get some expert knowledge dropped on these people.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
There he is. So, man, let me just get straight to some important things here. You're always so high energy. Do you have to work at that? Where does it come from?
Nah, man. You know, my background in overcoming the adversity that I've overcome in order to get to this place, I'm just very appreciative. I'm very happy. The journey to the destination is what gets me up in the morning. The journey to getting to my goal is what gets me up in the morning. And those who have come before me, those who have paved the way, and those who I consider mentors, and those who are in the spaces that I want to be in, that's what gets me up in the morning. And that's what creates my great attitude. The possibilities is what creates my attitude, man. And, you know, in reality, there's no reason to complain because nobody's going to listen anyway.
I hear you, man. Well, tell me about that adversity, man. I have had some major adversity in my life, you know, and it makes the payoff that much more good. I believe that those who go through hard things have a tremendous advantage, over everyone else that, you know, has it easy. So, if you don't mind, tell me some of the challenges that you've had to deal with.
You know, it's like you said, man, those who have come from adversity have a tremendous, you know, they have strength in their minds, man. It strengthens their up. You know, they have advantages that people who come from privilege or people who, you know, had a leg up, they don't understand. But, you know, some of the adversity that I've had in my life have been, you know, my circumstances, and some have been self-inflicted. You know, my circumstances, my biological mother left me when I was 2 years old. I've had a few people in my life, you know, I've had a few family members die of murder. You know, I've had 6 of them die of murder. I'm a high school dropout. I used to live in poverty. I'm a teenage father. I have every excuse in my life to be a statistic. I have every reason in my life to be a statistic and to be a victim and to be a woe is me and to have a woe is me attitude, but I choose not to. I choose to rise above. I choose to get it on, and I choose to get some. And so it's my goals that motivate me, man. And I'm going to tell you something about the advantage of adversity. The advantage of adversity is it strengthens up your mind. But no matter who you are, even if you were given a leg up, even if you come from great circumstances, you have to control this. You have to control this, man. This has to become concrete. You have to turn this from mush into concrete. And once you turn it into concrete, you can accomplish anything, you know, and it's no one's fault what situation or what circumstance you come from, right? If you were born with the leg up, fantastic, because that's what I'm trying to give my children. So that's fantastic. So the fact that a person was born with the leg up doesn't mean that they're at a disadvantage. It just means that, hey, they had a leg up. Good for them. But you know what? They still got hopes. They still got dreams. But what they're going to have to understand is they got people like me competing with them. So if they're in my arena, they better get it on 100% of the time, or I just might pass by them.
Right. Absolutely. So you mentioned kids there. You know, my wife and I, we have 4 children.
Oh, God bless you.
14 to 21.
I love it.
and the first part of their life, was they didn't know, they were underprivileged. We did not have a whole lot. Now that
Sure.
things are a lot better in the last several years, they have some advantages like you're talking about, but I try really hard to make them do hard things and to give them some difficult circumstances. How many kids do you have, and how do you approach money with your kids?
Yep. So I've got 3 children, 3 girls, all daughters.
Wow.
From 24, I had my 24-year-old who will be 24 this year when I was 18 years old, all the way down to 13 months. And I also have an 11-year-old there in the middle. And I'm going to tell you, man, my parents, when they raised me, there's the stick and there's the carrot. My parents definitely used the stick. There really wasn't any carrot. It was all stick, buddy. And, I know what that did to me. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're scarring your kids, when you're scarring people, scars run deeper on the inside than they do the outside. The outside, you can easily heal the outside. It's hard to heal the inside. So the way that I approach my children and their success and them accomplishing goals is I do the opposite of what my parents did. I put a carrot in front of them. I incentivize them. I reward them well for doing well. And we have discussion, and I teach, train, develop, and I grow my children. So even when they're coming up short, it's always a teachable moment. You don't have to discipline or be hard on your kids or harsh on your kids when they're coming up short. Always take the opportunity to teach, train, develop, and grow, right? Because we're all human, right? So I take the carrot approach, and when they do well, I reward well, man. And thus, my 11-year-old, who is just now going into the 6th grade, she's been a straight A student now for the last 3 years. She's been on the President's Award for the last 3 years. And this is coming from a man who's a high school dropout, right? So obviously my technique is working. She loves to be rewarded. And you know what? I love rewarding her. So every time I get a report card or every time she does something well, I love rewarding her. So that's my approach.
I like it, man. And what I like even more than that is that the teach, train, and develop, and the discussions that you have. We live in a country, the richest country on the planet, and so many people live paycheck to paycheck. And I think that's because there's no training at home, or at least no training by someone who knows what money is. So many people work their entire life and then give all their money to someone else, and that's strange to me. So I think that sitting down with your children and having discussions about money is important.
100%.
Okay.
100%, man. Let me tell you something. Money should be part of the curriculum in school from elementary all the way up till they graduate. But you know what? It's not. School teaches people how to go and work for other folks, man. School teaches people how to go in and be a soldier, right? That's what school teaches you, right? School does not teach you about money. School doesn't teach you how to generate money. It doesn't teach you how to invest money. It didn't teach you how to earn money. It doesn't teach you how to build, right? Build a business so that it can generate money. It doesn't teach you any of that. So it's on us. It's on people like you and me and the people who influence your children and those people and your audience's children. It's on those people to teach their children about money. Because listen to me, I'm going to tell you something. Of all things on planet Earth, there is no shortage of money. And as a matter of fact, Billy, I'm about to reveal something to you.
Let's go.
Money is the most plentiful resource you and I have. It is the most plentiful resource everyone on your audience has. And I can prove it to you in 30 seconds. Can I do it?
Please.
Excellent. So let me ask you a question, Billy. I'm going to pretend I'm asking your entire audience, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have $500 in your bank account?
Yes.
Okay, so you have $500, but you don't have 500 of nothing else in your life, Billy. You don't have 500 blankets, 500 pairs of shoes, 500 cars, 500 lawnmowers, 500 forks, knives, and spoons in your kitchen, 500 dishes, 500 pairs of socks, but you have $500. And then guess what? When you spend that $500, what are you going to replace it with?
More.
$500 more, right? You've been doing that your whole life. People have been doing that their whole life. Money is the most plentiful resource every one of us has. So let me tell you what poverty comes from, because I lived in poverty. I lived in poverty so long, I became good at it. I could teach anybody how to live in poverty. But now I'm far from it. I don't live in poverty now. Poverty is here. Poverty is a think, because when you think poverty, then you approach it you approach everything in a poverty manner. Let me tell you something. When you believe that there's more month than there is money, when you believe there's more bills in a month than there is money, when you believe that there's a shortage of money, then you will approach everything. I'm talking about you will approach grocery shopping that way. You will approach where you live that way. You will approach looking in the newspaper and the classified ads and looking for a $500 or $600 car. Why? Because you believe that there's a shortage of money. But in fact, there's not a shortage of money. There's a shortage of people out there with hustle, grind, and creativity. That's what it is, because people are attracted to those with hustle, grind, and creativity. And when I figured that piece out, that's when the money started coming for me. Now I understand money is the most plentiful resource out there. And it's like, why didn't I realize this back when I was 21? Why didn't I realize this back when I was 22? Why? Why did it take me to in my 30s to realize this? Money is listen to me. I used to have hair, and I used to walk to the barbershop. I used to go catch the bus to work because my hoopty. Now, just in case you don't know what a hoopty is a very old car, rusty, that you could go buy out of the classified ads for less than $1,000. That's what a hoopty is, and I had them. But when it would break down because of how old it was, I used to go across the street, stand on the corner, and catch the bus. Shortage thinking, right? Now, when I lived in poverty, what should have woke me up was, listen, everyone has a business inside of them. All they have to do is get creative, get them some hustle, get them some grind, and the money will follow. I promise. So that's where I'm at now, and that's what I teach now. There is no shortage of money, only a shortage of hustle, grind, and creativity.
Okay, I'm with you 100%. I got a question, though. So many people live with that shortage mentality, and I believe in a prosperity mentality. I totally believe that it is a mindset.
100%.
And I had, say, 30 years of negative mindset before I really started programming my mind and creating this prosperity mentality, which has resulted in money coming to me. I totally believe that. How do we get through to those people who are listening? We're going to have over 1,000, maybe 2,000 views of this by the end of the day. How do we get through to these people? What's the first step they can take to switching? They may not be as fired up as Shaka Dyson. They may not be as fired up as Billy Merritt, but what can we do to shift that awareness to get them thinking prosperity? Yeah.
So what you have to understand is you get what you focus on. You will always find, and you will always get what you focus on. When I lived in poverty, I was surrounded by poverty. Listen to me. When I lived in poverty, it wasn't just me. I lived in a building with 12 other apartments that were all run down, right? And I lived in the basement. I lived in the basement apartment, okay? I lived in an apartment so small that I could sit in my living room, in my pull-out couch, by the way, because I didn't have a bed. So I could sit in my living room or lay in my living room and reach in the kitchen and move my stove. That's a true story. Right. I lived in the basement and didn't have heat down there. So when it would snow, my window was ground level. And when it would snow, the ice would form on the inside of my window. I remember being able to take a butter knife and chisel the ice off the inside of my window. What I wasn't doing, I was focusing on the poverty. I was focusing on the excuses. I was focusing on the victim mentality. I was focusing on what I didn't have. Oh, woe is me, because that was easy. Right? Misery loves company. And so everybody that lived around me was in the same situation that I was. It didn't make me feel that bad. Why? Because I could walk outside my door, or I could walk out of my building, and guess what? They're poor too. Guess what? They're walking too. Guess what? They're going all across the street to the laundry and tanning connection to do their clothes too. Guess what? They're walking over to the Aldi's to do their grocery shopping too. Guess what? They're catching the bus too. You see what I'm saying? So when people are around you, when you're associated with so many people that are in the same position that you are, that you don't feel as bad, but you get what you focus on. So if you're living in a paycheck to paycheck situation, then you have to change what you focus on. You have to start focusing on people who are in positions that you want to be in. If you don't know any, heck, start reading books. Start looking on the internet. Everybody has one of these. Start using your phone and just watching YouTube videos of people who are in the situation that you want to be in. And then start figuring out what they did. Because I promise you, none of them are special. They just approach success differently. That's it. There's nothing different about Shaka Dyson other than the way I wake up and approach life now. There's no Superman in me. There's no me putting my pants on 2 legs at a time. That don't happen. But the way I approach life now is completely different than the way I wake up like I did back then. So if you are in that situation, immediately change what you focus on, and then immediately remove people who can't help you get to the next your next destination or your next goal. Stop dealing with people who are toxic. Stop dealing with people who are negative. Stop dealing with people who can't do, and start putting people who can do in your life, and start surrounding yourself with those type of people. I promise you, you'll get yourself out of that situation for sure.
Shaka, I am totally into what you're saying. I believe it wholeheartedly, and I think that we get what we focus on. And
100%.
I'm gonna ask you again. And guys, pay attention out there.
Sure.
Pay attention and put 3 stars by this. My producer over here, we're gonna share this again. What Shaka has told us is you get what you focus on. So I'm just gonna ask you plain and simple. If I focus on money, will I get more money?
100%. If you focus on it, listen, if you focus on it, then you're going to take action on what you focus on. So if you're in a situation and you make 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year, and you say, I want to make more money, then start focusing on, pick a number, start focusing on that. And I want to make 100 grand a year. Great. Start focusing on those people who make 100 grand a year. What is it that they do? How is it that they wake up? What job, what work is it that they do? How much attention are they getting? How do they approach their day every single day? What does their schedule look like? Absolutely. So if you start focusing on money, you're going to figure that part out, because it's all in your approach, attitude, and your action. That's what it is. Approach, attitude, and action. You will get money if you focus on it. But unfortunately, most people, when I was in that situation, most people focus on the shortages and what they don't have and the negativity. Switch that around.
So how important are goals? You know, everybody has opinions about goals. I feel very strongly about certain things about goals. Tell us your rules or your advice on goals and how we should approach our goals.
Yeah, if people have different opinions about goals, I'd find that odd, man, if they want to succeed. But goals are everything. It's why you get up. It's opportunity. It's possibility, right? It's what's in front of you. It's what you're shooting for. It's the target. Yeah. I mean, goals are everything. Goals are your potential, right?
Yes.
Getting uncomfortable, right? Because you're going after your goals. You got to have big goals. You got to have massive goals. Your target has to be humongous, right? If you want to get up and have a great attitude, you want to get up for something, you want to have energy, you want to stay fired up every day, you want to feel like you're getting up for a reason and you're doing things on purpose, get yourself some big goals. Yes. Stop thinking small. Get yourself some massive goals and then go out there and get it.
Yeah. And so I'm so glad you said that. When I said people have different opinions, I believe you should write your goals down every day. And I believe you should have huge goals, because if you have small, attainable or easily attainable goals, you're more likely to quit. If you really have big goals and I teach to fantasize about your goals, to feel as if you already have them and, start drawing that into existence. If you'll have the energy, you'll get up early, you'll do all those things if you have goals with meaning attached to them. Do you write your goals down?
I don't write them down every day. No, I'm living mine out. right?
Yeah.
So it's not that I write mine down every day. They're in concrete. They're drilled. They're in concrete. I drive in the neighborhood and I look at the houses that are my goals. I'm networking with people who are in the situations that I want to be in, right? The Grant Cardones, the Glenn Lundys of the world, right? Those people I keep in my network. Those are my goals. Building my business is my goal, right? So I don't necessarily write them down every day, but I stay laser focused on my goals 24/7.
Awesome, man. So tell me a little bit about what you've done. I know that you have a dealer academy, if that's the right word. Tell me exactly what your expertise is. And you spoke about Glenn Lundy. He just commented right there. Glenn.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Glenn,
so
that's my man.
So before we get into your area of expertise, I want to talk about something that may be a little more provocative. So
Sure.
I had Glenn on the show, and I was talking about, he's such a positive guy, and he and I flew to Texas together, and then back to Kentucky. We had a great time, and he was actually studying and listening to audiobooks on the way. We had our headphones on the airplane, and I turned on my Bluetooth and it picked up what he was listening to. And it was very cool because, we all are students, I would say, of Grant Cardone. We've learned, and he's definitely got some great advice. Well, Glenn was listening to 10X rule. And I'm like, that is so cool. You know what I'm saying? How many times have I listened to it? How many times have you listened to it? It's so important to feed your mind that good stuff. I found it was interesting that Glenn doesn't receive much hate on social media, and I do, and I think you do. Don't you experience a little bit of hate and a little criticism from some people out there?
Oh yeah, sure.
So how do you deal with that? What's your thoughts on the? Go ahead.
Listen, man. One of the best quotes that I ever heard, man, was "Those doing better than you will never hate on you."
That's right.
Period.
Yeah.
This is concrete. I work on making this concrete every day. Every day, this is concrete. And I'm talking about hard concrete. When it's mush, when the concrete is soft, right? When they're pouring a sidewalk. Well, then when you walk on that sidewalk and it hasn't hardened yet, you could leave your footprints in it, right? So what I do is I ingest positive. I ingest 10X rule. I ingest sell or be sold. I ingest my network, right? Information from my network on how to build my business. So by the time it becomes concrete, by the time it becomes hard, nothing can penetrate it, right? I'm not worried about haters. It's a part of the game. Yeah. It's a part of being successful. It's a part of living in that world. Right? The more out front you are, the more people are going to look at you. The more people are going to criticize you. But the saying holds true. Those who do are the envy of many who watch. Yeah. It's by Jim Rohn.
Okay.
Those who do are the envy of many who watch. So I experience it, and I'm cool with it, because the more people hate on me, I must be doing something right.
That's
when
right.
I was living in poverty, nobody knew me, so nobody was hating on me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell us what you do. Tell me, you're an expert. How does Shaka Dyson make money? What value?
Yeah, man.
What do you bring to the marketplace?
Yeah, man. So I help dealers around the country build mega multi-million dollar F&I departments, big, robust F&I departments from the foundation all the way up. I help them construct the right F&I department. That's where I'm from. I'm from the F&I world. I've been in the automotive industry going on 21 years now. Well, 21 years. And in that time, 18 of them have been focused on the F&I department. I've had a few years in there where I was running dealerships themselves. And then the last 3 years before I launched my own company, I was working at the corporate level, running all the F&I departments for 34 stores across 5 states. I had 65 finance managers that reported to me. And I learned how to build a robust mega F&I department that I now teach dealers across the country. What dealers don't know is killing them. What dealers don't know about how to create the right F&I department is costing them millions and millions and millions of dollars. What dealers don't know about having the right person in that seat. What dealers don't know about having the right benchmarks, what dealers don't know about having their teams on the right pay plans, what dealers don't know about having their teams doing the right process, and what dealers don't know about training their people of how to do the right presentations to customers are costing them millions in production. And so this is what I teach dealers. I teach dealers how to build multi-mega million dollar F&I departments. So I've got companies within that. I've got an online university, Dealer F&I University. Me and Grant Cardone are partners on Cardone University in the world of F&I. But I also have my own Dealer F&I University platform. It is the largest and most robust F&I training platform in the entire industry. I also have the F&I Excellence Club, which is live training by me virtually to dealers out there in the country. I also do seminars, closers, masterclasses. And then as you can see behind me, I also hit the stage. And thanks to Glenn Lundy and his team, this was one of his events where I got to share the stage with one of my mentors, Eric Thomas. So that's who Shaka Dyson is, man. ShakaDyson.com. Come on with it.
I love it, man. So I know people are going to want some more Shaka after this. So, definitely reach out to this guy. I have a sales show on Tuesday. You'd fit right in there. I have a dealer academy show on Thursday where we advise dealers and general managers, and we work with dealers all over the country. And listen, this is what I love about Shaka Dyson. You had 60 F&I guys reporting to you. You were in, I think you said 32 stores, 34 stores across 5 states. So many people are eager to give their advice and try to train people on F&I. And my thing, I have a very pet peeve about people taking the wrong advice.
Sure.
It's very simple to look at someone's credentials before. Never take advice from someone who hasn't already done what you're trying to do. So, with all the trainers out there, and I have no problem with most of the trainers, but I'm just saying, if you're going to get some F&I advice, let's get it from the guy who's ran 34 stores, 60 F&I managers, and who is willing to. You're so free with your time. I remember I was actually running a store one time, and my F&I manager had a question. I said, "Man, you need to be following Shaka Dyson." And I don't remember where he got your number from, but you spent like 30 minutes on the phone with the guy. You know what I'm saying? Helping this guy. And that leads to people having faith in you. And then, the first, hey, can you jump on the show? You said no problem. So, saying yes is so important, and it just builds relationships. And so I'm going to use this as a platform to say, guys, you need to be training with this guy. You need to go to ShakaDyson.com and get some information and get yourself trained up. I mean, dealers don't know what they don't know, but my man just said it's costing you millions of dollars because you're not doing it right. So why? This is a money show. Why would you not invest in training with someone who knows how to do it, knows how to train right? And you've heard it. He's on fire on my show. This was impromptu. So why wouldn't you be getting your dealership trained by someone like this? So I do appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you mentioned toxic people earlier. That was hard for me on my success path, getting rid of some of those people that were my lifelong friends that just didn't grow up and didn't share those goals. I still consider them friends, but we don't have to spend as much time together anymore. You talked about putting people around you on the same path. There's a lot of people that you're the perfect person. You said you were born into poverty, had a very, very tough situation there for a long time. How do you start replacing those friends? Where do you start?
So I wasn't born into poverty, but what happened was I dropped out of high school and went into poverty. So when I left my home when I was 17 years old. So I ran away from home at 17 and left Indiana and moved to New York City. So I ran away from home at 17 and I went into I didn't have anything. And so I went into poverty at 18 years old. I found myself living in those buildings, having a daughter at 18 years old and being at the short end of money. So I was living in poverty. And I didn't even know that I lived in poverty. I didn't even know that there was a such thing as the poverty line. I filed my taxes the first year at 18 years old and got an extra tax incentive. And the lady told me that I got an extra tax incentive because I made below the poverty line. True story. Because I had no clue that there was a such thing. But as far as toxic people, one thing I want to tell you about what you said about trainers, man, and those people who have the facade as being a trainers but don't have the depth. I always tell people, man, you don't need a resume, you need a track record. So you don't need to check my resume, check my track record. Talk to those who have been trained by me. Talk to those who know who Shaka Dyson is and who know. I don't need to give you my resume. All you have to do is know my track record, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as toxic people, man, again, you got to control this and not, you have to make decisions using this and not using this. What I mean by that is you have to make this concrete, right? I remove toxic people out of my life if they're family. Mm-hmm. I just removed a guy that's so toxic to this day, but man, I've known the dude since I was 16 years old. We were in the streets together. We got robbed at gunpoint at 3 a.m. in the morning together. We were like this. But unfortunately, man, he never made the leap. He never leapt from victim mentality into prosperity mentality. He never made that move, right? So I had to let it go because to this day, he's still very toxic. He's still very negative. Easy. Remember I said misery loves company. So it was easy to be good friends with him back then because I was miserable. And so misery loves company. But now I change all that, man. I want the 5 people that I'm around every day to be multimillionaires. Why? Because if I'm the 6th person, guess where I'm going to end up? I want the 5 people around me to have that can-do attitude. Why? Because if I'm the 6th person, guess what my attitude is going to be? I want the 5 people around me to have goals, to have businesses, to be entrepreneurs, to think big, and to think what other people would consider is crazy. I want people to throw conferences and have seminars and to be living the life. Because if I have those 5 people around me every day, guess what the 6th person becomes, right? Yes. So it's easy for me to get rid of toxic people, right? Getting rid of toxic people will do so much for you, your mental. It'll do so much for your health. It'll do so much for your attitude. It'll benefit your family because the happier you are, the happier your family, your wife, your husband, your children become, your life becomes, your job becomes, the people who you work around becomes. It's so important about what you put in here. So you have to control this, man. Make this concrete.
Okay, I love it, man. Now, I have a lot of salespeople who watch this show and they reach out to me. I train a lot of salespeople. I'm a salesman's advocate. I love salespeople, and I love empowering them, and I love helping them. And I 90% of the time, if it's a close decision, I'm going to side with the salesperson. That's
100%.
That's the way I came up. So, I have transitioned. Talking about track records, every dealership I've been at, now there's some super managers there running the sales department, some F&I guys, and I was decent F&I guy, but that's not my, like I'm no Dyson. Okay. So
sure,
what do you say to these salespeople that are great salespeople that want to move on up, that want to get a position as a finance manager? What do they need to be focusing on? How can we help? Other than just following you every day, what can we help these young people that make the transition to because listen, guys, finance managers where the money in the dealership, that's where the money's made.
Sure,
the general manager's doing well, but that finance guy can really knock it down because you are ringing the cash register for the dealership. How are we going to help these young people get there?
Yep. So what I always tell salespeople, I've probably in the whole industry, I probably promoted more salespeople into F&I than any one person. Right. I still do it to this day. I still promote salespeople into F&I to this day. As a matter of fact, on the 1st of this month, I had a new salesperson that just got promoted into finance. This is what I do. But what I tell salespeople everywhere is you have to become a finance manager. You have to become a finance manager before the opportunity presents itself. Become it before that opportunity presents itself, because the problem is that they go for the position first and then look to get trained. And what I tell them is get trained first, become the finance manager, and then go for the opportunity. Because the problem is with dealers and decision makers is when you have an F&I opportunity and you're looking at a resume that says, hey, this finance manager has been a finance manager for 4 or 5 years, and you have a salesperson that has zero F&I background, automatically, typically, that decision maker is going to pick the person with the resume. Right. So they're not thinking about skill set. They're not thinking about, can you generate revenue day one, deal one, no matter who the customer is and no matter what type of deal it is. They're looking for somebody who has a resume that says, hey, I'm loyal. Hey, I ran good numbers. Hey, I'm leaving my dealer because it's his fault. Hey, my resume says that I'm this great person, right? A resume is an incorrect highlight reel. That's all it is. It's an incorrect highlight reel. That's the person you're interviewing isn't going to tell you the last time they got fired, though. The last time that they were demoted out of that department when they weren't doing as well. That's not going to be listed on their resume. It's an incorrect highlight reel. So what a new salesperson has to do is don't worry about acquiring a resume, acquire the skill set. Because when you acquire the skill set, I've been a decision maker for so long. I've interviewed thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of potential F&I managers. And when a potential finance manager, whether it be one that's seasoned or whether it be one that's a salesperson, when they come and they sit in the office with me and they want to discuss their resume, I immediately go to some other place. I immediately start thinking about my goals or start thinking about what I have to do later. But when I have a salesperson that comes and sits in front of me, and they start showing me their skill set. What I mean by that is you need to go and you need to sit in an interview and you need to deliver whoever's interviewing you. If you have a general manager that's interviewing you, Mr. Salesperson, for a finance position, you need to walk in that office, sit down with that general manager, and you need to give that general manager an F&I delivery on all his products. And then you need to invite that general manager to throw every single objection he could possibly throw at you. And then what you need to do is you need to overcome every single one of those objections. You need to close that general manager and you need to show him that if he were a customer, you would have generated revenue on him right then. Man, that's how you're going to get the position, not your resume.
Shaka, I just got to say something, man. You seem to take responsibility, and I think that's the one of the secrets to your success. You probably understand that already, but you're not up for excuses. You like to take responsibility for the situation and create your own outcome. I think if more people could get that, we would have a whole lot more production in the car business. You have so many people, like you say, want to blame it on the general manager, want to blame it on the salesperson, whatever. So I feel like that you could take 5 salespeople, train them F&I, how to close F&I products, and have 5 of the best F&I managers in the business. Resume means nothing to me. As a matter of fact, if I could turn the camera around and show you my call center here, the average age of the people in here is probably 23 years old. I mean, there's a couple old guys like me, but I always hire young salespeople and train them properly, and we'll outperform anyone in the market.
100%.
And it's all about the training. So, I mean, what do you teach people? Give me some free information here. What's something that I need to know? So, first of all, if I want that position, I need to be able to close the dealer, present all of his products, and I have to be bigger than my environment. I have to do more. I have to do things that I'm not getting paid for. I'm becoming an F&I person. I'm learning how to close F&I products before I even have a chance to sell F&I products. That's taking responsibility for yourself. Now, what else do I need to know? What are you going to train me in your first 30 days of class? Yep.
So first off, man, I'm going to give you something for free right now. This is my mantra. Okay. RONE. So anybody in your audience, write that down. RONE. I live by this.
Okay.
Results only, no excuses.
There you go.
Period. Results only, no excuses. And listen to me. If you are in a tree chopping contest and there's the woods Okay. And you're standing alongside, man, behind this start line. And you got all these lumberjacks, and all of them got this axe. And you're going to get paid millions of dollars, and you're going to open up doors for the rest of your career if you can go out there and chop down your tree the fastest. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure before that time happens, before you get to that race, you need to make sure that you have the sharpest axe. Well, the same applies to F&I. You have to make sure, if you want to be a beast in F&I, if you want to leave nothing on the table, no stone unturned, then you must become a beast in F&I before the deal presents itself, before the opportunity presents itself. You already have to have that F&I muscle. You already have to have that F&I intellect. You already have to have acquired that F&I skill set. Because listen to me. Here, let me show you the difference. Let me show you the very importance as to why. Okay. If let's you know what a PVR is, profit per retail. Okay, so this is what finance managers are responsible for generating on the back end of each deal. Okay, so let's say a dealer, a finance manager, worked for a dealer whose benchmark was $1,500 a copy. That was their benchmark, meaning that's the floor you got to hit $1,500 a month, a copy. Okay. So say you're a new salesperson who was just promoted into finance. You haven't acquired that skill set, but you're learning and you're trying very hard. Okay. And you're somebody who does, let's say you don't do that many deals. You only do 50 deals. So write that down. 1,500 times 50 deals is how much money, Billy?
Man, you're going to have to give me a calculator.
Come on. I got you. Results only, baby. No excuses. I got you.
I got you right here. I got it. 1,500 times 50.
So that's $75,000. Okay. So that means that seat that new salesperson is sitting in is worth $75,000 every 30 days, right? He's learning on the job. And so he's trying to, on those 50 deals, he has to average 1,500. But you know what? He didn't acquire the skill set first. You know what? He didn't build that muscle. He didn't build that intellect. He decided he was going to try to get hired first and then learn. Right. So he didn't do as well. He only averaged $700 a copy and not $1,500 a copy. He got by that first month and he only averaged $700 a copy. So how much money per copy did he leave on the table?
About $40,000.
No. Per copy. How much did he leave on the table?
800.
800. So if he left 800 on the table and you multiply that times just 50 deals in the first month, he left 40 grand on the table. Good math, man. You nailed it. So he left 40,000 on the table in that person's first 30 days. Mm-hmm. Now think about that from a decision maker standpoint. It is expensive to hire somebody that doesn't have the skill set.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why decision makers hesitate to promote salespeople. It's because they're not saying they don't want to hire you because you're a salesperson. What they're saying is that you're not turnkey, that they can't hire you and then you automatically start generating revenue on that first day on that first deal. And just think about that. If you leave 40 grand on the table in your first 30 days, that's more expensive than a Harvard degree.
Yeah.
And then that's just the first 30 days. What about the next 30 days? 40 and 40, that's 80,000. What about the next 30 days? You see what I'm saying? And on and so on. So salespeople, what you have to do is, listen to me. Don't go into an interview and ask for the position. Become a beast and walk into that interview and take the position.
Yeah. Be bigger than your environment and close the guy.
Man.
You know what? By your math, it makes perfect sense right there. And I'm sure that happens every single month, thousands of times across the country.
100%.
It sounds to me like training is probably one of the least expensive things you could do. You know what I'm saying? If you can easily lose, that's a very realistic, the numbers you just gave there. You can easily lose $40,000 per month by not having the right guy in that chair.
Training costs you nothing.
Yeah, make sure training actually increases.
Training costs you effort. That's all it costs you. It does not cost. I don't care what you pay for training. It costs you nothing.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing. It costs you effort. It costs you focus. It costs you your attitude, a willing attitude. That's what it costs you, not the money. You should listen to me. If you're taking horrible training, so that your training is costing you more than you're earning, then that's a red flag that you're not taking the right training or putting in the right effort.
Right.
But the right training costs you zero. I don't charge millions of dollars for my training, but all my dealers, check my track record, please. My dealers generate millions of dollars year over year net, not retail, net. They net millions of dollars year over year. Check my track record if you want to.
I would love to check your track record, man. And
please do.
You know, I know when I'm talking to an expert, and I only have experts on the show, and I'm already convinced right now that, you know, dealers that are not training their salespeople before their F&I managers are losing millions of dollars. And that's a big claim, Shaka. That's a big number. You know, you throw this millions of dollars things around like there, you know, that may sound unbelievable for some people. Are you telling me that your training produces millions of dollars per year net revenue, net profit?
I'm not telling you, I've done it. My dealers do it currently right now. There is no me telling you, they're doing it right now. Listen, check this out. So I had a dealer, a big dealer, and you guys can talk to these people. I had a big mega dealer right there. They do 600, they do 500 to 600 units a month. Okay, this auto group. Okay, they became my client a couple of years ago. Okay. A couple of years ago, they were at a fork in the road. Man, I wish I had them on here right now. They were at I'll guarantee I hope they're gonna see this. But they came to a fork in the road. Their fork in the road was either we're gonna shut down our finance department and we're gonna allow our salespeople to do the F&I part. So front to back, we're gonna allow our salespeople to do the F&I portion because we don't do that well in finance as of right now. They were at that fork in the road. Or we're going to contact this guy, Shaka Dyson, that we heard about, and we're going to bring him on, and we're going to allow him to come in and construct the F&I department. We're going to be under his tutelage, and we're going to allow him to see if he can't bring us back. Net revenue year over year. We have record years year over year over year over year. So what I'm telling you is the truth. Everyone who has ever taken my training knows that for sure. I took a big Honda store. I hope they see this. I took a big Honda store that was running less than $700 a copy in Minnesota. They were running less than $700 a copy. Had that old thinking, right? Oh, it's a Honda dealership and they pay cash and they lease a whole lot and we can't make money because Hondas are so great and blah, blah, blah. The same thing bunches of people say. I took them from running less than $700 a copy, 500 to 600 units per month, to up over $1,400 a copy, $1,300 to $1,400 a copy, month in and month out. Right? You have to know what you're doing. But from a 30,000-foot view, yeah, it's hard. It's impossible. Why? Because those on the ground who are not trained are telling you it's hard every day. They're telling you what's impossible every day. But I'm telling you different. You just have to do things different. You have to have the right person in the seat. You have to have the right benchmarks. You have to have the right pay plans that back up your benchmarks. You have to have the right process. You have to have the right presentations, and that will get you the right production.
It's a lot of P's right there. I'm right.
Come on, man.
Writing these things down. You know,
listen, it's not by accident that I'm business partners. Who you think Grant Cardone calls for finance?
Hey, listen, I'm with you 100%. That's why you're an expert on the show. Pay plan. So many dealers are scared to pay their people what they're worth. And I bet you have some finance managers that are knocking it down as an employee going in, running F&I, presenting and selling products that are just knocking down big money. Have you ever had a dealer that after you trained their, I bet you've had this, after you've trained their F&I, that the dealer said they're making too much money?
Dude, I've had GMs that my finance managers make more than the general managers, and I would get pushback from the general managers. But what people have to understand is dealers don't pay F&I.
That's right.
GMs don't pay F&I. F&I pays themselves. If they don't generate $1, they don't get paid $1.
That's right.
They only get paid a percentage of the amount of money that they generate. So what you dealers and general managers and decision makers need to have is you need to have production-based pay plans in your finance department. Pay your finance managers based on production, not overall gross, not a little bit of the front, a little bit of the back, and a little on the side, right? Production-based pay plans. You get paid for production. Therefore, you're not paying your finance managers a penny. They are paying themselves based on their production. The more that they generate, the more they get paid. And you know what? Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I honestly, I've never thought about that. I've been in the car business about 25 years. You know, if you have the right pay plan for your F&I guy, you don't pay him anything.
Nothing.
It costs you nothing to pay that guy.
Nothing.
All it is, anytime you pay him means he just made you a lot of money as well. So
100%.
That's
his paycheck, his income is a reflection of all the money he just made that store.
Yeah.
Him or her. It's just that's all it is. It's just a reflection. It's a I got a fat paycheck. Wonderful. That means that dealer got paid everything that they deserve. Right? Because that dealer, that decision maker deserves to get paid a lot of money too for giving that finance manager that opportunity. That finance manager deserves to get paid a bunch of money for generating a bunch of money. So that finance manager's families, they deserve to take part of that, right? They deserve to get showered with that revenue that finance manager generates. So absolutely. I pay my finance manager. All my finance managers are on production-based pay plans, and yes, they get paid.
Everyone gets paid, and the customer is protected. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. That's a win-win-win.
No one can build better CSI than the finance department, but no one can kill CSI faster than the finance department also, right? Finance, our job is to out-experience the last time your customers purchased a vehicle. That's our job. Customers hate the finance department. Right? You go on YouTube and you can find 10 million videos on bad things about finance departments, about bad customers experiences in finance departments, about wannabe trainers or customer advocates who get on YouTube and say, hey, don't you go back there and buy that stuff. But when customers are in emergency situations, it's the finance department's products that help that customer. They're not calling the salesperson. They're not calling the finance manager. They're calling the number that's on those policies that are there to help that customer. When they get a flat tire, that tire and wheel policy really will help that customer. When they get into an accident and they total their vehicle, that gap policy really will pay their deductible. It really will pay to pay their loan off in that emergency situation. And when they're out of town somewhere, when they're on vacation with their family and their vehicle breaks down, guess what? When you're unavailable as a salesperson, when that dealership is shut down for the holiday, when that finance manager is unavailable, guess what's not unavailable? That service contract.
Yeah.
That service contract is with that vehicle and with that customer 24/7, 365, morning, noon, and night for the next 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm with you.
So it is the F&I departments. It's the F&I department that can build CSI the fastest by covering the customer. Yes. But when finance managers do bad deliveries, they can kill the CSI. Listen, a salesperson can do everything right in that store, can roll out the red carpet for that customer, can do everything right and make that customer the happiest. And finance can tear all that down in a matter of 30 minutes. By doing a bad delivery for customers. So what finance managers have to do is they have to make sure that they out-experience the last time that customer bought a car. They have to make sure that they change the paradigm that customer has about finance, the perception that customers have about finance. They have to make it a great experience. They have to make that customer happy that they spent the money. They have to feel like it's the best money that they spent protecting their vehicle. That's the finance manager's obligation.
Yeah. I love it. Again, putting the responsibility on there. You know, it's all about taking responsibility, and it's his obligation. You know, we're running up on close to an hour, and Grant's show starts at 12 noon. So we try to get finished so that you guys can jump on there. We like to watch that as well. But I do want to talk about, we have some time. If we go over, that's fine. You know, this whole pandemic thing, everyone didn't know what to think, and maybe we still don't, but back in March, we took some precautions, sent some people home, cut some hours back just to protect everything, to make sure that revenue was going to at least maintain. And that it did what we didn't expect. It just shot up because we do text message selling. We set appointments virtually. We have a remote BDC, if you will, and we serve dealers all over the country. Well, it really helped our business because people want to do it from a distance, get the information through text message, through Facebook Messenger, those type of things. So it really helped us. What has it done to your business and to your finance managers? How has the pandemic, how has it helped or hurt you in the last 6 months?
Well, the pandemic has caused me to get real creative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it caused me to launch another business. That's what it caused me to do. Remember, hustle, grind, creativity, man. No shortage of money. You just got to get creative. So what I did was I launched a live virtual training platform for my dealers. It's called the F&I Excellence Club. So the F&I Excellence Club, I'm signing up dealers right now that will pay me monthly to be a part of the F&I Excellence Club. And I jump on and I do live training with them twice a week. I do live training with the dealers one day, and then on that Tuesday, and then on that Thursday, I do live training with all the finance managers. And so it's a platform that I'm going to help dealers build a robust F&I department. That multi-million-dollar department that I'm talking about, I'm going to help dealers build those. I'm currently helping dealers build those right now by constructing it the right way, by putting the right people in place, by getting the right benchmarks put in place, by teaching them how to do the right pay plan and how to do the right process, how to give the right presentations, and how to really manage their F&I department, and how to measure their F&I department, and how to hold their F&I managers accountable, and what to look for. So that's part of my business. And then the other part is me training the finance managers, because finance managers don't know what they don't know. If the old way of doing finance has been beaten to their brain, right, this entire time, then they don't know that there's a different way out there, that they don't know that there's a way better way, a current way, a modern way, a more compliant way, a more robust way, a more customer friendly way. They don't know that. And so now every Thursday, I'm taking the time to train I'm taking the time to train live my F&I teams, my F&I departments around the country. And then in between there, I coach them. I do live coaching with them to make sure that they're successful. So the pandemic caused me to create another business, which is the F&I Excellence Club, which I'm currently building right at this moment.
Awesome, man. Well, look, guys, I told you I was going to bring you an expert today, and here's what I learned from Shaka Dyson. You got to have a paradigm shift, and that's what this show's all about. You got to change your old ways of thinking about money, thinking about F&I, thinking about business. Realize you are a business person. Be bigger than your environment. Take responsibility for everything. Results only, no excuses. Pay your people. Let your people have a pay plan that allows them to write their own check, man. And I just greatly appreciate you taking the time to help me get this message out there that we need a revolution in the way we think about money, and that it's okay to say, hey, I want to, the fact that you get on here and say, I make millions of dollars for my dealers. I love that. 100%. It's very important. And it's okay to write your goals down or either ingrain it in your brain and say, I want to be very, very rich. I want to have multimillionaire. I want to be a multimillionaire, because if you don't have that kind of target, you're not going to hit it. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much, guys. Rewind this thing. Let's share this out to all of our platforms. We're going to get this thing up to 5,000 views and change some people's lives. Shaka Dyson, you are changing lives, and I appreciate you doing it on my show.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. It's been a pleasure for sure.
Thank you, man. Look forward to doing it again. All right, guys. I told you I was going to bring you some fire today. I mean, how about that? Shaka Dyson brought the fire. I love it. Go to shakadyson.com. You can get some more information there. That's the kind of people that I fill my friends list with. And he talked about removing toxic people. I delete people from my Facebook friends list every day. I add people to my Facebook friends list every day. Smith, how many Facebook friends do you have?
Probably less than 300.
Okay, we got to work on that. So
Yeah.
Smith, you're getting a front row seat to some specialized knowledge of some very, very smart individuals. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm loving it. And this was very high energy. I think he could have gone for 2 or 3 hours.
We could have,
easily.
we could have easily gone for 2 or 3 hours. We try to keep it at about an hour because we have some people who also like to watch Cardone show, which starts right now, by the way. So you can jump over to grantcardone.com or find him on Facebook and watch his show. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in on this fabulous Monday, Labor Day. I don't know who's going to be on the show tomorrow, but it's going to be lit. Tomorrow's the sales show, and that's my show. I can rock and roll on the sales show. I can teach you a thing or two about selling. I promise you. I've sold quite a few things. See you tomorrow.